Hello, fellow residents of Sanctuary. I am the Beeve, and in the past I have played some of the Diablo 4 and posted some of the gameplay that I had. Not a whole bunch, to be honest with you. I've done more ESO content than anything else. And today starts the public test realm for the Season 11 update, and a lot of changes are coming to the game, so I kind of wanted to go over some of the changes, and then later on tonight after I get home from work, I will be jumping on to the PTR and doing some recording or possibly even some live streaming of what the update looks like and get a feel for what the game is going to become in the next season. And today, right now, what I want to do is kind of go over the patch notes and discuss some of the changes that are coming, and then we will, I'll give you my thoughts on the changes and whatnot, and, everything's going to be subjective until we can actually get into the PTR and start trying some of this stuff out and then give our feedback on it. There's some neat things that are going on, but there are also some things that I don't think are going to be good for the game whatsoever. So let's go ahead and scroll through and read some of the stuff that's going to be changing. So they're changing tempering and masterworking first off, and the developer's note here says that tempering and masterworking have been refocused around their most core elements, customization and prestige. Players now always get their desired tempering affix, and masterworking has a direct path towards perfection. I can kind of agree with this, but I disagree with it as well. This is, in my opinion, a attempt to remove power from the game, remove damage from the game. Maybe how they have things worked out, things will equal out. I'm not sure, but I mean, we're talking about a game that the end game progression here is the pits, and like this current season, we'd have some very powerful classes right now that still aren't reaching the pinnacle of the end game, and I think that's something that they need to work on. I'd like to see more builds be able to reach the pinnacle of the end game. And right now there's no builds that are reaching the pinnacle of the end game. So with tempering, you can now select which specific affix you would like to apply to your item from a tempering recipe. You no longer have it randomly applied, which is really good. Items can only have one tempered affix. I don't like this whatsoever. Tempering changes can be restored indefinitely. So that is a nice plus to it as well. So like if you get a weapon and you want to try out a different build, you don't specifically have to find a whole new weapon. You can just change the tempering on it until you sanctify the gear. So we'll get into that later on here, but the one tempering affix means that they now are going to be dropping gear. The ancestral gear will be dropping with 4 affixes on them now instead of 3, which is going to make the gear grind even harder to find what you're looking for perfection wise or min max wise, however you want to refer to it. And that's a lot of the problems they had in the first Eternal Realm and the first and second, third seasons before Loot Reborn became a thing in season 4, which I believe it was. And that's when the tempering started applying. For this, the classes like the Druid, if it goes back to where, all the different werebear or werewolf type of affixes are randomly applied to certain gear, it's going to be harder to find one because there are so many different options that can roll on those 4 affixes. So it could make the gear hunt as uh, tedious as it was in the first couple seasons, and I'm not technically the biggest fan of that. Masterworking no longer increases your item's affix values, which sucks. Instead, it improves the quality of an item and gives a bonus to base damage, armor, or resistance of the item. So whether you're improving, weapon, armor, or jewelry, is whether it's going to give you base damage, armor, or resistance. Items can be masterworked to a maximum quality threshold of 20. Each time you masterwork an item, it adds a random amount of quality to the item from 2 to 5 levels. Once at maximum quality, you can roll one last time for a capstone bonus. That's a cool feature. I like that. This capstone bonus upgrades a random non-greater affix on your item into a greater affix. Once again, that's a really cool, a really cool quality of life. Rerolling the current masterwork affix will cost obdicite and nether iron. Apparently, nether iron is coming back, so that's another type of material that we're going to have to be collecting. We had obdicite, nether iron, and another type of material. I can't remember what the name of it was back in season 4, and collecting them and then using one to make the other and stuff like that became a little bit tedious. I don't know how much I actually like the idea behind all of this, but some of this is kind of neat, some of it is not going to work out very well. I do like the non greater affix being re-rolled into a masterworked greater affix. That's really cool. But when you're tempering and it's not improving the quality or improving the numbers on those affixes, that's leaving a lot of damage out that the community was used to, at least. Maybe the amount of damage they're adding to the weapons and whatnot will be comparable, but we won't know until the PTR kicks off and people really start getting in there and trying things out. And that's where they are saying here that the affixes found on non-unique items goes from 3 to 4. We just talked about it a minute ago, how I don't think that's a good idea. Reach untold heights with sanctification. This is what I was referring to earlier. Your deeds in protecting the downtrodden have not gone unnoticed, Wanderer. A fraction of power from the heights heavens has become available to your plight in the upcoming season. This is the angel that you have to visit to sanctify your gear. Sanctifying is your opportunity to take the ascendant power of the angels and imbue it into your item. Sanctifying your item has a chance to apply a bonus legendary power, improve an affix to a greater affix, add a bonus affix from a pool of special sanctification affixes, replace an existing affix with a random sanctification affix, or make your item indestructible, preventing it from losing durability. Sanctifying your items makes it unmodifiable, ending the item's journey. This should be the last upgrade you make to your item. So what they're saying here is that when you go see this angel, when you sanctify your piece of gear, you have a chance for something really cool to happen, or you have a chance for something that completely bricks it to happen, and then start over. So we're going to be going back to the way we were in the first couple seasons where we're just stockpiling gear. inside of our stashes. And that is the most annoying part of the first couple seasons, in my opinion, was just so much gear that you had to comb through to figure out if you had anything worth a damn to actually use. And then you could waste all the time, you know, masterworking, tempering, going all the way through to sanctification, and instead of giving you something that's really helpful, it gives you another greater affix on something that's not that big of a deal, or it replaces an affix with a random sanctification affix that, it removes a good affix. Let's say if you have an amulet of some sort and you sanctify it and you're running barbarian, for example, and maybe you found a necklace that has a uh has a what's counter offensive or something like that, or wall up, or something that works with your build, and then it removes that and puts something on there that completely just dumbs down the build. You're done at that point. You are back to finding another amulet, and amulets are going to be a absolute nightmare this season because they've added more affixes that can roll to an amulet. There's a additional chance of there being more things on your amulet when you find them that aren't good. So finding an amulet with what you need on it is going to be harder than it was before. And for me personally, that was the hardest piece of gear to be able to find. And then when you found one where two of the three aspects could work and you rolled for another one, I would sometimes spend billions of gold just to get the right affix to roll on it. So this looks like it could be um this looks like this could be really bad. We don't know what these special sanctification affixes are, or what, but like I don't know how much I trust this until the PTR goes off, when it's just putting something random on there. If it applies a random legendary power that, if you're using a Hoda build and it applies a legendary power that pertains to whirlwind, you've done nothing for that gear other than just make it to where it's nothing great happens from it. So the possibilities of being able to brick this stuff that you've worked so hard to get masterworked and tempered, that seems bad to me, in my opinion. A couple different ways to obtain this celestial improvement in pre-torment difficulties after defeating a lesser evil. One of the game Within one of the game modes they've taken over, such as a Helltide, you'll have a rare chance to sanctify an item at the Heavenly Anvil. If you choose not to do this at the time of invitation, you will not have the option to sanctify your item again until you receive another divine invitation. That's kind of cool. As you're leveling, you might be able to defeat one of these lesser evils and then get an invitation to go sanctify a piece of gear that you're going to get rid of anyway. So I like that option. Don't get me wrong. That's something that can help you improve your power and push you into higher tiers of torment and whatnot. So that's kind of cool. You can also obtain heavenly sigils, which can be used at will to transport you to the heavenly forge to undergo sanctification. These are only needed to sanctify items at ancestral quality, which is your item 800 power, something that already has a greater affix on it. These can only be earned in torment difficulties. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that these heavenly sigils are probably gonna drop a good bit. This probably something's gonna crowd up your inventory space as well, just like the respec scrolls for gear do right now. Because you complete one horde and you get like 4 respec scrolls, and this season's all about hordes right now. So I have 1,000 of these scrolls across like 4 different characters. So I'm sure that these aren't going to be hard to find, but we'll find out. Monster combat evolved. The many bloodlusted creatures that burrow beneath the many hovels and bogs of sanctuary may seem mindless, but there is a reason they have not yet been eradicated from the land of sanctuary. They mutate and adapt to overcome their prey, slowly becoming more formidable. Improved monster behavior. Each monster should now have its own clear role and own identity when fighting. Monster behavior was previously too predictable. Now they'll be more dynamic in how they respond to you in combat. Deadlier enemies. I expect your defenses to be regularly tested by your enemies. You'll more regularly be dealt damage from these intelligent packs. Monster affixes will also be more powerful, making them more necessary to deal with before moving on to other less important enemies. I kind of like that idea because right now, when you like run pits or you're running dungeons or whatnot, you run across something that it just is taking too long to kill, especially in higher pits. You just move on and start killing littler stuff. The way I read that right there shows me that these affixes, these new affixes that they're putting on these elites and whatnot, are going to cause you to have to deal with it. I like that idea, but it might really mess the pits up. Plain and simple. Like if you have to deal with something because it's becoming, it just makes things harder to deal with when you're doing trash packs and whatnot, and it's something that also has a hefty damage shield or damage reduction or whatever, and it just takes so long to kill. That could really mess up some pit runs for people. So pros and cons to that, obviously. Monster packs will also group up less, making them harder to take out in one fell swoop. Their tactics have improved, and so should yours. This shows me that if we want the ability to take out big things or big groups at one time, we're going to have to gather things up. We're going to have to be using abilities that pull things in and immobilize them to give yourself the best chance at smacking everything all at once. And if they're spread out a lot, once again, that's something that could really make the pits a nightmare for some builds to be able to complete. A lot of builds depend on things being stacked up and being able to one thing dying hurts something else. So builds like that might struggle. Monster packs, while our champion enemy rarity has been reworked to form champion packs. It sounds like there's going to be more elites in one area or elites that have minions, as you'll see in this next section here. Elite enemy updates. There are 20 new monster affixes to learn and conquer. Elites now spawn with minions that inherit some of their affixes. That's kind of cool. That'll make things a little bit difficult, but it could make things a little bit of a pain in the ass as well, because if you're already dealing with something that is terrifying and puts like the pentagrams on the floor that blow up or the ice crystals on the floor that blow up, normally you see like 3 or 4 of those on the ground. If you run across a pack where the main boss and 2 of his ads are doing that, like you may not have anywhere safe to travel to get to keep it from being able to do damage to you. You might be running completely away from the fight to come back, hit it a few times, run completely away from the fight, come back, hit it 2 times. That's my biggest concern. Obviously, we're not in the PTR yet, so I don't know exactly how that's working, but that is my biggest fear in this situation, that these packs that they're referring to are going to cause situations like that where you have to deal with these because that's how they're making the new mechanics of monster fights work, and dealing with them is going to be a pain if you are something that has to be right up in everyone's face like a barbarian or something of the sort. Maybe sorks or rogues can get around and fight from a distance, but some of the builds for like the barbs and the spiritborn or whatnot don't give you that ability. We've updated enemy affixes to be more engaging, reducing overlap in their designs, and made some visual clarity improvements. I like the visual clarity improvements. If this stuff shows up on the ground better, when it is on the ground, that would be really nice. Because when, like, currently, like, I'm playing the Rake Spiritborn right now, and because of the animation of the Rake Spiritborn, with the claws all over the place, I have a hard time seeing things on the floor. So if they change that in some way, visual clarity wise, that would be excellent. I would like that. um Reduced overlap in their designs. I hope that's what they're referring to, like I just was, like, minions that have the same affixes as their boss aren't throwing the same things out. So let's hope that's what that means right there. I mean, it kind of sounds like what that means, but once again, won't know till we get into the PTR. These changes apply to all monsters across Sanctuary. Take care next time you encounter what you think will be a familiar pack of foes. That's kind of cool. Even out in the wild, you're going to be running across different things and testing your skills. I'm sure once we get high enough level in, once we get high enough, levels and gears and setups and whatnot, we'll be right back to just one-shotting things out in the open. But for the leveling process, and before you get everything masterwork, tempered, and sanctified, maybe some of these hell tides and stuff will still be a problem for you. So I like that. I like that idea. I really do. I do like a little bit more of an engaging encounter when it comes to those things. It's not. It's not always fun to be able to just run past something and have something you got passively on you killing them. But I mean, it does work when you're trying to farm gear or farm materials or whatever. Uh, which I think with this new itemization that they're doing with the weapons and tempering and whatnot, I think that's going to be something that has to be done a lot anyway. So this could slow down that process as well. Updates: defense, health, and renown. Uh, the PTR is your first look at upcoming changes to the way you defend, use potions, and how renown is changing across both seasonal and eternal realms. Defensive overhaul, introducing toughness. This is kind of what they had in D3. In an effort to better equalize effective health across classes and builds, we're making several changes to the way effective health interacts with damage reduction and how those individual stats are calculated. Our goal is to properly test you defensively as you climb through the difficulty tiers, putting more emphasis on gearing your builds towards survivability. So, I guess they're sick of the glass cannons running around, and I mean, I don't think they're that big of a deal myself. Like, I still get one-shotted very easily on my Rake Spiritborn right now. Like, I can push into a 125 and a 130 pit. But like, even in 110s and 120s, if I don't get out of something, if I don't see it, I still get one-shotted. So, um, sounds like they really want you to focus on survivability. But the very next thing we're going to read right here, armor and resistances will both become rating systems, which I don't understand how that this change. I'm not a big fan of this change. With diminishing returns at higher value. Armor now reduces all damage taken, both physical and non-physical. I do like that. Armor that you're wearing should protect you from, cold damage. It should protect you from maybe not so much, electrical damage and whatnot. Like, like physics, like doing things from a physics point of view, at least. Like, it should be damage should be reduced by armor from non-physical things. Like, the lightning or fire or whatever shouldn't just pass right through your armor and hit you without the armor mitigating it whatsoever. I do like that change. The armor and resistance penalties per torment tiers has been removed. So as you move up, your ratings aren't going down. Thank you for that. It was such a pain in the butt having everything geared in Torment 1, moving to Torment 2, 3, or 4, and then everything being very low or even in the negatives where you're taking bonus damage from stuff. So I like the fact that they've removed that. Thank you very much for that. Skills and Paragon nodes are being reworked with these changes in mind. Paragon nodes and skills that provide various forms of damage reductions now grant a multiplicative bonus to your armor and resistances. I don't like the multiplicative bonuses because, as you said right here, like diminishing returns at higher value. So, like, if you take a node that gives you 10% damage reduction, and then you take another node with 10% damage reduction, it's not going to be 20% damage reduction. It's going to be lower than that because it's multiplicative and turns in has diminishing returns as it gets higher in value. So not the biggest fan of that whatsoever. And I don't understand why we have to rework the resistance system. I think it's fine the way it is. It's very straightforward and very understandable. Right now you have a resistance percentage. You can mitigate, like your cap is 70% unless you find ways to increase your max, and that can go up to 85%. And what that tells you is that, if you have a 70% damage mitigation on lightning, that means 70% of it is you're not being touched by. You're only taking 30% of the damage because you're mitigating the rest. That's very straightforward and very easy to understand. What they're going to go to may not be as simple. So I don't know what to expect with this until we get into the PTR and really start checking it out. To help you understand defenses better, we're adding a new stat called Toughness that represents the total amount of raw damage of each type that you can take after considering all damage mitigation sources. Toughness is displayed under your character's stat beneath attack power. The toughness value summarizes your average defense against each damage type. Hovering over the value will give you a detailed view of how effective your defenses are against each specific damage type. So I guess we'll be seeing how this all plays out with the toughness and the resistances. I have a feeling this might not be very good, but we'll see exactly how it plays out. Healing potions completely reworked. Potions are changing significantly to make use more impactful and tactical. These changes go in tandem with the renown changes next, so keep that in mind when you're reading these changes. Base potion capacity has been reduced to 4 regardless of previous renown process. So everything that you've done renown wise up to this point being thrown out the window. So just understand that. All the running around and exploring everything and getting all your Akarat things and your statues of Lilith and whatnot. It seems like maybe all that stuff's going out the window. So whatever. Potion healing is now an instant percentage-based heal. Using a potion heals you for 35% of your total health immediately on use. No more health over time from your potions. So it's an immediate effect and you're not getting anything else from it. So that might cause you to have to pop 2 potions right in a row. And you only have 4. So good luck with that. Life on hit has been improved and re-added to a potential affix, which is another thing that is going to have to be maybe applied or just for you to be able to survive, or even just have to be an affix that gets in the way of you finding good gear. So there we go. Skipped over one here. In addition to the potions you pick up, you also slowly regenerate a potion every 30 seconds. So at least you're like you're getting potions back, which is nice because I've been in boss fights where I ran out of potions when like going into higher tiers that I shouldn't have been in, and it's taking way too long to kill a boss, and I'm taking potions and not getting him to his break points where he drops potions. So the every 30 seconds is kind of nice. I do like that idea. I just 4, man, that's low. It's going to be an adjustment for a lot of people. We've also increased the values for life regeneration, life on kill, healing percentage, and made them more readily available. So that's nice right there. So like if you have a good healing percentage, taking a potion might give you more than 35%. Like if you find a way to give yourself 100%, maybe it restores 70%, so you're not having to take 2 potions. So that's nice right there. Or just having life regeneration as well on maybe a piece of gear or two on a body piece or whatnot. Maybe that really helps kick in if you have some healing percentage applied somewhere as well on top of that. So I'm sure there's a lot of ways that you can regenerate health properly. Healing potion upgrades have been removed, considering potions are now a portion of your overall health. So a potion is a potion. No more having to go to the alchemist and upgrade your potions, apparently. Fortify redesign. To work in tandem with the changes to healing and potions, Fortify is shifting from a type of damage reduction to an additional reservoir of life that's drained to heal you over time. That's an interesting concept. When you now gain Fortify, it will stack up to your maximum life. When you have Fortify under maximum life, you'll heal for a percentage of your maximum life per second in exchange for the equal amount of Fortify. You will be considered fortified as long as you have any amount of Fortify. So you're always fortified. Even if you have 1 Fortify, you're considered fortified, apparently. Specific changes to skills, passives, and items related to Fortify are detailed in the patch notes found on the bottom of this blog. Lesser evils. Beat back lesser evils. So Sanctuary invaded. Let's see. This is just in addition to appearing as one of the world bosses that can appear in an area just south of Zarbinzit, Asmodan can also be summoned at will. You'll find 3 summoning altars to call Asmodan forth. Each summoning altar will invoke Asmodan with powers from one of the other 3 lesser evils. Select one of the summoning altar to summon Asmodon. I think it's Asmodon, who will be influenced by powers from other lesser evils. The monsters that rise to support him will also have affixes related to the corresponding lesser evil. Defeating the enemy will initially spawn a summon Asmodon. After slaying him, you'll find chests in his summoning area that can be opened with corrupted essence. Duriel burrows into hell tides, spreading his parasitic presence. So instead of the Blood Maiden now, Duriel can be summoned in hell tides. That's kind of cool. Upon reaching maximum threat level, Pangs of Duriel will spawn instead of Hellborn. These Pangs of Duriel will be ever present in Helltide. Symptoms of Duriel's much laminated takeover. Slaying them will earn you Baneful Hearts to summon Duriel. Okay. Monster packs in Helltides will feature monster family maggots, including new Potent of Pain Mega Maggot. The Hellworm spews maggots, and the meteors that plague Helltides will now be falling packs of maggots. Delicious. So there's going to be maggots all over the Helltides now. That's very cool. Belial slips into pits, manifesting confusion wherever he lies. Belial eyes will randomly appear within the pit once destroyed. They will stun nearby enemies and summon a pack of Belial apparitions. Slaying these apparitions will count towards your pit progression. Destroying several eyes during the run will replace the final boss with Belial himself. Killing him grants an additional glyph upgrade and rewards. That's neat. I like that. Throughout the pit, Belial's influence extends by creating clones of your enemies to sow confusion in your mind. Okay. So Belial in the pits. Andariel burns into the Crossed Undercity. Andariel's influence has corrupted the Undercity's spirit beacons, making them more dangerous but yielding far more attunement than normal. Using these tormented spirit beacons will grant additional attunement. We're adding 3 new Undercity tributes, including we are adding 3 new Undercity tributes specific to Andariel. Each boost your Undercity rewards, guarantees Andariel spawns at the final boss. Beware for these specific tributes, add dungeon affixes to your runs. Okay, so it makes it a little bit harder. Shades of Andariel can also be found lurking in the recesses of Undercity. This powerful shade has attacks that will sap your time. Takes your time away. That's kind of neat. Andariel also appears as the final boss in the Undercity, who upon defeat will grant increased rewards. Additionally, enemies within the Undercity can be imbued with wailing spirits, which launch attacks that hone in on your location. Killing enemies with respective lesser evil purified or corrupted gifts grants divine favor, which levels your divine gifts and use to progress through the seasonal reputation board. That the seasonal reputation board is all about divine favor. That's where this is now. Each divine gift has 3 components: a reward, a corrupted gift, and a purified gift. Within the divine gifts panel within your inventory, divine gifts can be slotted in the interior to activate the purified gift, or the exterior to activate the corrupted gift. So, purified, corrupted. I guess that's how that goes. When slotted, the divine gift will activate a reward bonus associated with each gift, increasing the rewards for that specific divine gift. That's kind of neat. Corrupted gifts will make each activity they relate to more difficult, but still grant the reward bonus on the divine gift. All right. You have to choose what you don't mind dealing with and what you would like to be. I like how that works, kind of. Purified gifts remove the negative effects, add a positive effect, and double the reward obtained or gained. Each corrupted gift slotted are unlocked automatically. Progress through the seasonal reputation board to unlock the purified gift slots found for the divine gifts. So you're going to get the purified gifts you have to earn, but the corrupted gifts you have. These purified gift slots are unlocked at the following divine favors rank: 2 Duriel, 4 Andariel, 6 Osmodon, and 8 Belial. So those are the purified gifts that you can obtain and what ranks you need to obtain them. Killing a lesser evil for the first time drops their corrupted essence, returning this essence to Hadriel, that's the angel, will unlock 2 divine gifts associated with that lesser evil. Once unlocked, you'll earn experience toward leveling up each of the related divine gifts by killing the lesser evil or any of their minion. These are the different essences that you can get. Pangs of Duriel drop socketable in Helltide, doubled while purified. can drop socketables in Hell Tides and doubled when purified. Rank upgrades, higher quality runes and gems drop. So runes and gems are going to drop. That's cool. Purified Gift, briefly gain maximum barrier after becoming injured every 20 seconds. Corrupted Gift, Pangs of Duriel ambush you for more often and have a 100% chance to shatter your barriers or fortified life with their attack. Earned by battling Duriel in the Helltide. Essence of Squalor. Rewards. Maggots and Helltides can drop experience globs doubled when purified. Upgraded ranks, more experienced goblin globs drop. That's kind of neat. You're leveling up quicker with those. Purified Gift of this is refill a healing potion every 20 seconds. Corrupted is maggots spawn from falling meteors, and all maggots attacks will consume one of your health potions. So if you get hit by 4 different ones, all your potions are gone. That's kind of crazy. If I'm reading that correctly, that could end up being a pain in the ass. Essence of Lies. Rewards chance for an extra upgrade in the pit, doubled when purified. Rank upgrades, extra upgrade chance increases. Purified Gift, fortify for 1% of your maximum life a second. That's kind of neat. Corrupted Gift, Belial's eyes are filled with malice and will focus you with beams that deal 10% of your maximum life a second. Oh, that's okay. So that could be problematic in the pit. I'm assuming. Earned by battling Belial in the pit. Essence of Shadows rewards. Vanquish the pit to earn immense amounts of gold, doubled when purified. When ranked up, gold amount increases. Purified Gift briefly become unstoppable when crowd controlled every 12 seconds. That's nice. Corrupted Gift, Belial's apparitions are empowered, and their attacks can daze you for 3 seconds or knock you back. That could be problematic. Essence of Sin rewards survive world boss encounters to earn activity keys doubled when purified. Upgraded ranks, higher quality dungeon keys drop. Rank 2, the weekly cache awards a huge amount of activity keys at rank 5. More compasses and tributes drop across Sanctuary. Purified Gift, gain 20% increased armor. Corrupted Gift, you are vulnerable while fighting world bosses. That's earned from Asmodon in the overworld. Essence of Hellfire, rewards are survive world boss encounters to earn layer keys doubled when purified. Higher quality layer boss key drops at rank 2. The weekly cache awards a huge amount of layer boss keys. And rank 5, more layer boss keys drop across Sanctuary. Purified Gift, your direct damage has a 10% chance to stun enemies for 1 second. Corrupted Gift, meteors rain down upon you while fighting world bosses. That could be problematic. That's earned from battling Asmodan in the overworld. Essence of Anguish rewards vanquish the Undercity to earn obols doubled when purified. That's cool. I like obols are nice. Upgraded rank, obols amount increases. Purified, 30% movement speed. Corrupted, manifestations of anguish lurk throughout the Undercity and attach lightning siphons to you that slow you by 70% while you are close to them. You're moving like a slug. Earned from Andariel in the Undercity. Essence of Screams reward vanquish the Undercity to earn salvage materials double when purified. Upgraded, higher quality salvage materials drop. Purified Gift is 20% increased resistance. Corrupted Gift is agonized souls are enraged and will now form explosions that pull you inward and generate electrified ground that deals 12% maximum life a second. That's oh my gosh. That's earned from Andario in the Undercity. So I guess what I don't know exactly how it's supposed to be working. I guess when you get these, you get to choose whether you want it to be purified or corrupted. So you have to choose on which ones you think you can deal with and which ones you don't want to deal with, and uh the bonuses that come along with them. Ascend to the tower leaderboard. I'm not going to really go through this tower thing. I think this is going to end up like the trials, where the leaderboards are just going to be full of, you know, hackers at the top. Honestly, people that figured out how to manipulate something in some way, shape, or form, and you'll never be on the top of the leaderboards. I hope I'm wrong, but for the sake of saving time, I'm not even really going into this. It's literally just it's unlocked to the obelisk in Karagar. From there, you can run the tower or any difficulty level already unlocked for the pit. You have 10 minutes from exiting the starting circle to complete the entire dungeon. Fight through multiple floors, each with randomized tile set and monster family. Earn progression by killing monsters and collecting orbs. It's very much similar like what the trial was, and I don't have I don't have a lot of faith in it being any different than the trials. There will be all kinds of different, just like the trials were, you know, solo barb, neck, sorcerer, druid, rogue, spiritborn, party 2, 3, and 4. Additionally, entries on the leaderboard will display the following: rank, player name, tier completed, time, date. You can filter by platform, hardcore, normal, friends, clan. Okay. So here's the next big changes. Renown changes in the seasonal realm and season rank. Your renown will now only stand permanently in the eternal realm. So when we're going into different seasons, it's, you know, your renown has nothing to do with it. Everything that you've worked for only stays in the eternal realm. So if you're an eternal realm player, I guess that's cool. But I don't know too many people that are. Most people are, you know, playing for the season, because that's when all the new stuff happens and everything changes, and you get different aspects of the game. I don't think anyone's really still playing the Eternal Realm to play the Eternal Realm. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. Your renown will only stay. I just read that. With seasonal, with the seasonal realm, you can still earn additional benefits associated with the former renown system based on your progress in the new seasonal rank system. Season rank awards additional skill points at rank 2, 3, and 4, like we had for the renown. Uh, Seasonal rank awards additional Paragon points at 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once again, just like the Renown was. So I don't know if it's going to be the same number of skill points and the same number of Paragon points that we're getting from all the different areas in the Renown. That could be changing. It could be different. I'm not sure. Extra potion capacity obviously has been removed. Altars of Lilith and Tenets of Akarat will grant some experience and minor rewards rather than permanent stats and power. So, if you've collected those things, you're going to get some experience and some minor rewards. You're not going to get the stats and power that you got from it previously. We're doing capstone dungeons again, apparently. They've returned, aim to challenge your progress through many difficulty tiers as you gain power through your journey. Note that despite capstone dungeons starting a suggested level to attempt them, they do not scale in difficulty with your current level. So, very similar to the old ones. I guess this is a good way to, when this is how we used to have to get the Torment 4 in, you know, the first couple seasons before they went to the pits. You'd have to go do a capstone dungeon, then move on to the next tier. Do a capstone dungeon, move on to the next tier. Then complete the final capstone dungeon, and then you were in Torment. Um, it appears like it's going back to that, so that's I'm not a big fan of that. It just makes it harder to get into the difficulties. Um, but whatever. Torrid menagerie, menagerie. I think that's what that is. Torrid menagerie. Suggested level 30, difficulty tier normal. Hellish Descent, suggested level 50, difficulty tier expert. Unseen Awakening is a 60, Torment 1. Tempest Oasis, 60, Torment 2. Sins of Many, 60, Torment 3. Uh, I'm pretty sure so this is how you're going to move into your I don't think it explains it completely right there, but this is how you're going to choose your this is how you're going to open up your difficulty levels, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm reading that incorrectly, but I think it's going back to the way it was previously, with having to complete these capstone dungeons to be able to move into a different tier of difficulty. You new unique items: Barbarian, Chain Scourge Mail, unique pants, uh, plus to all stats, plus to maximum life, cooldown reduction, and +2 brawling skills. And the unique power is casting a damaging brawling skill disables it afterwards. When all of these skills that are on your action bar are disabled, they become re-enabled. With their cooldowns refreshed, your brawling skills deal 50 to 100% increased damage for each disabled slot. This is probably going to make the this is probably going to make like the kick barbarian meta for barbs, honestly. Um, if you put charge and what are some other brawling skills? Warcry, leap, I think, and kick. Is that them? Regardless, you'll take the one that's do the most damage, which is probably going to be the kick because of the there's a there's a node in the there's going to be a node in the game that or a node in your skill tree that when like you use all of your when you use all of your or when you use kick, it consumes all of your resources and does so much more damage. And when you apply that with the rune that does the same thing and do this right here with these pants, it's probably going to make that kick the the hardest hitting uh barb in the game. I'm going to assume, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out in the PTR. Druid, Kashmir Stepwalker. Uh, and the inherent ability on this attacks reduce evades cooldown. These are boots. Movement speed, crowd control duration, nature magic cooldown reduction, and pluses to bad omen. Damaging 200 to 100 enemies with storm skills grants a charge. Casting any defensive skill with will grant max movement speed and unhindered for 1 second for each charge used. While charged, enemies you run into are immobilized for 1 second. So that might that'll be good for getting you out of situations where like you become crowd controlled or whatnot. I don't know how well that's gonna work. That's something we'll have to play with. Death's Pavane, unique pants, inherit 15% dodge chance while channeling Dance of Knives, critical strike chance, movement speed, plus the Dance of Knives, and uh, percentage damage to agility damage. The unique power, Dance of Knives, drops knives from enemies hit. Picking them up grants you 1 charge and increases your Dance of Knives damage by 10 to 20% for 6 seconds, stacking up 3 times. So potentially giving this Dance of Knives, which is already, I think, pretty good, pretty hard hitting, the ability to stack up to possibly 60% more damage. That'll be good for the rogues right there. Which the rogues need something. They've been behind on everything, and I have a feeling this season they're still going to be behind on things. Necromancer, we got the Grave Bloom unique one-handed mace. Inherent is 10% attack speed. You get intelligence, max life, chance for golem to hit twice, pluses to Golem Mastery, and you raise 3 smaller golems that each deal 40 to 60% of normal damage and gain 30% attack speed, and your golems respawn 50% faster. So this might be good for a minions build where you got golems out. The instead of just having one that does normal damage, you could have 3 that does up to 60% more damage. So I mean, you're looking at uh, you're looking at 80% damage increase on the golems. So that's kind of cool. That might be really nice for a minions type of build or golem type of build. Orsavane, one-handed mace for the sorcerer. It has intelligence, maximum life, non-physical damage, and plus to core skills. Unique power for each defensive skill not on your action bar. You deal 20 to 40% increased damage and gain an associated enchantment effect. That could be really big for Sorks. Although the Sorks are taking a nerf, they're making teleport have a 5-second cooldown that can't be reduced, from what I understand. I didn't read it completely, but I know the teleport is not going to be as good as it was previously for Sorks, and that's really gonna make some Sorks mad. Path of Emissary, unique boots for the Spiritborn. Inherit 30% move speed. That's a lot of speed. And then even more movement speed. Holy cow. You potentially get 55% movement speed just out of these unique boots. Core skill damage, core skill ranks, and impairment reduction. Every 12 to 4 meters you move, invoke a core skill from your primary spirit hall. So you get this on the 4 meters and you're evading. You're just going to be throwing free core skills out. Well, maybe not free, but it says invoke, so it doesn't say that it's going to use any of your spirit to do, or your vigor to do so. That sounds to me like, on top of having like Thunder Spike hit off of an invade, you might be able to get, if you're running a Jaguar primary, you might be able to get Rake to hit for free, or something else, the Crushing Hands if you're running Gorilla. So that's really interesting. That's going to make for that pair of boots right there is going to make possibly speed running pits very doable with the Spiritborn for your leveling of your glyphs and of your character. So might be playing a Spiritborn in the PTR. I really want to try Barb because I'm a huge Barb fan, but Spiritborn looks pretty good right there. I like that. And then just they're going over the features for when you're testing. They provide you with gold and obols and all materials and unlocking masting working. Like you're able to get right into the end game if you want to. All runes, all max aspects, random legendaries, grant all uniques. Like you get everything, so you have the ability to test everything, which is really cool. All glyphs, max all glyphs, complete campaign in all strongholds, unlocks your whole map, unlocks all torment tiers, set Paragon level to 200. Are you going to have to level past that, or did they cap this at 200 now? Are you able to gain more Paragon levels at this point, or is that like the new cap because of how the Renowned has changed? I don't know. We'll check that out. And then seasonal, it'll grant divine gifts, maximizing divine gifts rank, sanctification stone, seasonal progression. And it's just how to provide feedback. So this has been a little bit of a longer video, and I apologize for how long it took, but I wanted to go over everything. Later on tonight when I get home from work, I will be testing some things out on the PTR, making some videos, maybe even live streaming, to be honest with you. So we'll see how we'll see what happens there. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thank you very much for for sticking around if you did, and checking out everything new that the season 11 has to offer. And stay tuned later for some more videos on what the PTR looks like and what we can expect from season 11. Until then, guys, happy adventuring.